Hi, I'm Sam Harris with the Meal Connect team here at Feeding America, and today we're going to go through how to use your agency account here on the Meal Connect website. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and log into my test account, and we can go through the different features that the agency account has, the different tools that it offers, as well as how to actually go about submitting receipts. You can see there are a number of different ways to log in, and your food bank will instruct you what way they have decided for you to get logged into your account. As I log in, you'll notice that I'm landing here on the receipts page. And the idea is that every time you log in, you land right here on the new receipts section so that you can submit your receipts, and with just a few clicks, potentially filling out a couple fields and mostly selecting from drop downs, get those receipts submitted, get that information entered quickly and easily, and get on with the important work that you're doing. So the first thing that you're going to do, and this is going to be the case for all receipts, is to select the date of pickup. You can either type it in freehand, or you can select from this calendar. And then down below that, you'll want to go ahead and select your donor. In this list, you'll see only the donors that the food bank has assigned to you. If you would like to use Meal Connect to receipt for any additional donors, or if there's a donor that you normally receipt to the food bank for that you don't see in this list, please let them know. Please let your food bank know, and they can go ahead and they can get it added to your account. So I'm going to select one of these donors from my list, but if you have several donors that you pick up from, if you've got a very long list, what you can start to do is type the name, the number, or the address of the donor location, and it will filter down to only show you those that meet the criteria that you're entering. So once you've got that selected, the date and donor, that's going to be the case for every receipt that you enter, the date of pickup or the date of the attempt, and the donor in question. Down below, there are three different possibilities that we wanted to account for with this reoccurring model of pickup. The first two appear in the form of these sort of check boxes, or what you might call an unsuccessful pickup. So let's say that, for instance, you were scheduled to go in today, but for whatever reason you are not available to do so. You can go ahead and select scheduled pickup not attempted. And this is going to allow you to let the food bank know what happened, to get that receipt in, and kind of keep track, not only for the food bank's sake, but also for your own sake, that relationship that you have with this particular donor. So once you've selected scheduled pickup not attempted, in the reason drop down over here, you'll see a few different options as to why you were not able to go in on this particular day. Maybe they were sick, or there was a breakdown, or actually maybe perhaps the donor called and canceled on you. Or if none of those apply, you can select other, and then this reason field is going to pop up. And by filling it out, you can add sort of freehand the information as to why you weren't able to go in and pick up on that particular day. So once you've got that filled in, you can go ahead and hit Add Receipt. And now you can see that this receipt is ready for submission. So what this means is that you can submit all of your receipts in one convenient batch and just continue to add them on to this screen. And when you're ready, send all of them together in one bunch over to the food bank. So whether you're receipting for everything that you picked up that day or maybe that week, you can add it all in here. And then when you're ready to do so, go ahead and submit those receipts with one click of the button. If you've got more receipts to add for the time frame, however, you can go over here and hit Add New Receipt. You can see it's going to take you right back to that same familiar screen, and you can continue to just add on more and more receipts this way until everything is accounted for. So just like before, I'm going to pick the date and the donor. Once those have been selected, we'll go and take a look at this other sort of unsuccessful pickup option, which is called No Pounds. And basically, this is if you guys, for instance, send a driver in, or if the donor calls and cancels on you, it's a way to record that kind of scenario. And just like with the other receipt, you can add more information in this reason field. So, maybe the store was closed. Once you've got that information in, you can go ahead and hit Add Receipt just like before. And now this receipt shows as being ready for submission, just like the first one we entered. All of this information after you submit it is going to be available to you in the form of reports and being able to look at your previous submissions. And we'll go through that in a moment. But the fact that you can look back on these receipts that you're entering maybe would make you want to be as detailed as possible with these reasons for why the pickup didn't take place, so that when you look back, you'll have a detailed description as to what happened on that particular day. Let's go ahead, though, and we'll add another receipt, and this time this receipt will represent a successful pickup. So just like with the first couple times, we're going to enter the date, and we're going to select a donor from the drop-down, either by just clicking on it or starting to type out some of the donor information here. And then this time we will record a receipt for a scenario in which you go in or you send your driver in and the donor has something for you to pick up, and you simply need to record what that something was. So the first thing that you'll want to do is you'll go down here to this bottom section to record what specifically the donor had for you on this particular day. So in the category dropdown, you're going to see the categories that the food bank has selected for you. If there are any other categories that you report for, anything that you don't see in this list, please go ahead and ask the food bank specifically how they would like you to receipt for any given item. The platform is designed to be flexible and fit their existing SOPs, so they should have an idea of how to receipt for any specific item that you might get. But we'll say in this particular pickup, you guys went into the donor and you picked up some apples and oranges. So you can go ahead and in this case select produce from this dropdown. Right next door, you'll click on the storage requirement and you'll see the options that the food bank has tied to this particular category. So in this specific case, in our example here, they only have refrigeration tied. You might see more storage requirements, you might see fewer storage requirements. It really depends on what the food bank specifically has tied to any given category. So we'll go ahead and we'll pick refrigeration. Next up is the description field, and this is a required field, but it's a place for you to add a little bit more color, a little bit more information, so that when you look back at your own reporting, you can see specifically what the donor has donated on any given day. On any pickup that you've gone in, you're going to have all of the information to look back on that you enter here. So we'll say apples and oranges, and then in the pounds field, you're going to enter the total number of pounds. You're going to enter it only in whole numbers, so no decimals, and you're not going to need to add any other information other than just the numerals of the poundage. So you don't need to write the word pounds, you don't need to enter LBS, anything like that. You can just go ahead and add the number in right here. Once all of that has been filled out, you can go ahead and hit add. You're going to want to make sure that you hit add, and you can see now that this line item is set. If you make a mistake or need to go back and change something, you can hit edit and it will open it back up for editing. But you're going to want to make sure that before you try to submit this receipt, before you try to add it, that each line is saved and looks like this. So let's say though that in addition to the produce, the donor had something else that they donated on that particular day. You can just hit add new line item, and you can continue to add on the different categories into this receipt and just keep adding on new line items until everything is accounted for. So let's say that in addition to that produce, they gave some frozen chicken. And let's say that maybe they gave, 60 pounds of frozen chicken, but in an effort to get finished up quickly, maybe you hit 0 a few too many times. If you enter a line item that is above a threshold that the food bank has set for you, and it can vary what that threshold is, you're going to see this notification down here in the bottom that says, warning, large poundage detected, please continue if you are sure. It's not going to stop you from submitting any line item. It's not going to stop you from adding any receipt. It's just designed to draw some attention to what is potentially a high poundage. You can continue to add on line items until everything is accounted for. There's no limit to how many line items you can add. Once you've got everything accounted for in this receipt and every line item has been added and looks like this, you can go ahead and hit add receipt. You can see you've also got options here for editing and deleting, so if you realize that something needs to be changed or updated, you can go ahead and do so. But once you're ready to submit those receipts to actually send them over to the food bank, you're going to want to make sure that you hit Submit Receipts down here at the bottom. That's going to send those receipts over to the food bank, so at this point they have the receipts that you have entered. And you're going to see a couple notifications. First off, that the receipts have been submitted successfully. So your receipts have been sent over and you're all done. You're also going to see a notification down below letting you know that you have a certain number of days that the food bank has decided to make updates or corrections. In this case, in our example, we've got 5 days, but you might see a number anywhere between 1 and 5. That's the entire process for submitting receipts. But, let's say that maybe you're like me and you're sort of a chronic double checker, or you want to go back and take another look at some of this information, or maybe you need to make changes or updates. You can look at all of your previous submissions over here by selecting Previous Receipts. And you'll see every receipt that you've entered into the platform in this table over here. Just like with the donor list, you can start by typing information about the donor, either the name, or you can filter down by the date range in which you entered any of these receipts. And then down below you'll see a few things, some information, for instance, about the date that you entered, the donor that you submitted the receipt for, the number of items, and maybe most importantly over here in this action column, those that are still within the edit period that the food bank has selected are going to give you the option to open up these receipts for editing. You can see the ones that we just submitted show a status of submitted and have this edit button available. Those that were submitted previously and have passed the edit period now show a status of locked, meaning that we can't open those up for editing. If there is a mistake or an update needs to be made on one of these receipts that shows as locked, please go ahead and let the food bank know and we can take care of that. So that's the process of submitting receipts, as well as being able to make changes once the receipts have been submitted. But let's say that you want to dig in and actually take a look and use this information that you are submitting to, for instance, identify trends or look back and see how things went within any specific time frame, or even plan for the future and forecast how things are going to be in the coming months and years. We want to make sure that you've got the tools to do so, and most of that information can be found under the Reports section over here. You've got a few different types of reports that you can run. This summary report is going to show you a high-level breakdown by those different food categories that you have available to you, as well as showing you information about each of the donors that the food bank has assigned to you. For instance, looking at things like successful pickups, the 2 different options for unsuccessful pickups, as well as getting a breakdown both in terms of just the total poundage that any given donor has donated and has been receipted by you at the agency, as well as a breakdown by those different food categories. So a good high-level report that you can run to get information on how any given donor is donating within any given time frame. If you want to change this time frame, you can click in this field and you're going to have a calendar just like the one that you had in the receipting page. You can either select a date range from this calendar, or you can go in here and type in the information yourself. You've got a few different options. For summary report, you can either run it as a CSV file or an Excel file, depending on what you would like. Over here on the detailed report, you're going to have one extra option in the form of a PDF. The detailed report, on the other hand, is designed to give you a breakdown, line item by line item, every single receipt that you have entered for any given time frame. You can either run it for all of your donors or one specific one that has been assigned to you. You could also run it by either pickup date, and that would be the date that you are submitting in these receipts, or the submission date, and that would refer to the day that you actually send this report over to the food bank. Once you've got this all filled out, you can hit Create Report. Similar to the other one that we ran, the platform will generate this for you, and it's going to give you a breakdown, first a high-level one of the time frame that you have run this report for up here at the top. And then as you scroll down, you'll see receipt by receipt, day by day. Here's everything that you have entered into the platform, all of your receipt information for any given time frame. This is something that you could print out for yourself to have, something that you can save to your desktop. You could email it to a donor if you needed to. All of this information is going to be available to you right here in the website so that you have it at your fingertips. And as you enter receipts, all of this is going to remain up to date. Last but not least, the activity report. This one is designed so that you can take a look and sort of keep track of how new donors are doing over any given time frame. And when I say new donors, what I mean is new to you in the platform. So as the food bank assigns different donors to you to be able to receipt for them, you might want to run activity reports to see how new donors that were assigned within any given time frame might be doing. The settings section, most of this information is going to be filled out by the first person or the first people who get registered and attached to the agency account. But if at some point in time you need to come back here and make updates or make changes, you can open up any of these fields. For instance, if the name of the organization changes, or maybe you change locations, you've got the opportunity to come back here and update that yourself at any point in time if you need to. Finally, the messaging service. So this is an opportunity for you and the food bank to communicate through the website itself. It won't send out an email, but it will send you messages through the website, similar to a Facebook message. You can see here that you have received a few different messages that you might see here in your account. One of them is with regards to being delinquent for one of the donors that is assigned to you. The food bank sets up a time frame for reports to be submitted, and if that time frame is exceeded, you'll get this friendly automated message notifying you that the donor hasn't been receipted for within a specific time frame and asking you to please go ahead and enter those receipts. The other message that you might see is one from the food bank. The food bank can send you messages through the account, as well as you being able to send messages to them by hitting Compose New Message and then filling out this information here. The subject, the recipient is going to be your food bank. You've got options for recording the priority of this message, as well as the body section where you can add the actual text of the message and send it on over to the food bank. All right, we'll hop back to the dashboard and take a look at a few different things here. One of which is, in addition to having this sidebar navigation over here, you've also got these icons up at the top, which will take you to the different places, the different pages here in your account. You've also got a couple things to try to help you as you become familiar with your account, as you start to use it. For instance, you've got the option for the guided tour here, and it will show you the different things available to you in your account as well as what they do. It will prompt you to kind of go through and look at the different aspects that you've got available to you here. You've also got the help drawer over here. If you click on the compass icon, it will open up, and it's going to help you as well as kind of advise you on each different pages and the things that that particular page can do. And then last but not least, you've got the search bar over here. And if you are in your account, you can start to type out the thing that you want to do. So you might say, well, I want to run a report, or I want to enter a receipt. You can just start to type out the thing that you want to do and click on it, and it will take you to your account, to that particular page to do what you have selected from that list. If you have any questions about how to use the platform or how you should receipt any specific thing, as well as being interested in using this to record additional information for donors that you don't currently report to the food bank, you can reach out to your food bank representative and let them know. They can answer any questions as far as how to receipt any different item that you might get, as well as add on any additional donors that you might want to use this to report for. Thank you very much for watching.